I see you're there, still on your travels there, mate.
Yeah, mate. I hope you can hear me. I've got a different headset on today.
Yeah, well, we can hear you. Yeah, it's
Cool.
it's a little bit phone-like, but it's not too bad.
Good.
Now we had a pretty good trade on Monday on the pound trade. It was a decent breakout. So let's have a quick look at that.
Okay. Cool.
And I don't think I traded it exactly right, mate, but it was okay. It made the money.
Right, for one, you traded it right, obviously.
Yeah, I mean it actually went quite a bit further. It'd be interesting to know at some point how you would have managed it, because it would have been a decent one. Now the range today, let's have a look at it. So I would say there's a low down here, and I'd want to see that broken, I think. There's the low there, which means that we're going to need to say the high is up here. In actual fact, I'm going to use this. It's going to be a pretty wide range now. This might be changed, but let's have a look at it just on this front first. Now that is a pretty wide range there, but there is also an inner range that might be better. There's a little inner range in here, but you can see that it has broken out once here and rejected the level. It broke out here and rejected that level. So it's not a very clean kind of area. The cleanest area is here. Now, when you're going to need to look at, firstly, what's the likelihood that we get moving on that, and how wide is it? If that was to break to the downside, you know, there's 50 pips there, and you got 12 to the downside. So if it did start to come down, then there's this level here. But how would you look at this, mate? This looks to be a bit wide for me.
Yeah, look, this is the one thing that we haven't decided on yet, isn't it? That's the right entry, and obviously the optimal reward out of it is the challenge that we've got. So I've still been trading the last 3 bars on the hourly chart.
Right.
So, you know, when we change to the method that we deem to be right, then we can start to say, well, here's how we should do it. At this point, I'd still be trading those last 3 bars. But, you know, if you look at the resistance that we're trading straight into,
yeah,
it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look good. Let me just have a look at just a bit of an adaptation here. Let me get rid of that.
Tell you what, I would be okay with probably is trading the last 5 bars and get your entry maybe about 5 pips above the high and 3 pips below the low. That looks okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. That's what I actually see as the pattern here, mate. I mean, it's difficult because it's poked itself out of that pattern a couple of times, but we're not yet at the open. So I suspect now that would lead us. Let's just have a look. What I haven't got on here, which I would have to see. Now, I don't mind this if this was a break of the lower line to get to the weekly pivot. I think that looks pretty good. Now, if we're not using any kind of outer influences, then we're not going to consider some of the release today from the UK, but in regards to interest rates. But I suspect that's going to play a part. And let's look at the big picture and see what have we got here. I'd like to know if have an open trade place on the 26th of April. Should I leave it run? What should I do? Please advise. What's the 26th of April? What's the trade there, buddy? Sorry, I wouldn't know how to pronounce your Chinese name from the symbols. I don't know if you've got a way that you could put that into the Western alphabet if possible. Good morning, Hanan. Morning, John. We will have the quiz later. Okay, here we go. So here's the pound now starting to move. So if it breaks the upside, I'm not going to take this trade, but it'd be interesting to see, if this does actually work out and we'd want to see it break above 139.12 probably to get some genuine traction. But you can see over here there's problems. Now, if that was the case, it wouldn't necessarily be an issue. It's not a big issue because your stop would probably, come in at the lower line. But this is really looking at the strategy in a different way, because it's kind of more of a pattern than a range. So we're not kind of trading the kind of the rectangular range on this. I would much prefer this to break to the downside, and if it does, I may well take it. Let's just have a quick look at a quick look at the higher time frames. This is the daily. Yeah, the daily will look pretty good for some downside, I think. Weekly definitely looks good for downside, and I suspect the monthly does as well. So personally, mate, I'd be looking at this on a on that pattern, as I say.
Yeah, I'm just going to do my usual. I'll trade it as a 3-candle breakout. So
okay.
we'll see how that goes.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Now that would be my personal stance on it, and I might well trade this and see if it's giving us a slightly different picture. Are you trading it short or long?
I'll trade the breakout. So either way,
Okay.
139.11 will be my entry, and the stop loss will be 138.97 for the long.
Now there's the level there. That's the line there. Now let me just see what this would make this. Okay, that's the pattern. So let's see if there's enough risk to reward there. 37 to 26. I quite like that. I wouldn't be interested in upside, but the downside, 37 to 26, I might well initiate this and see what we get. So I'm going to trade it in the way that I'm viewing the pattern, and see if this does actually give us anything. 1.38865. I'm going to go in hyper light because this would be a completely different approach, because I'm not trading it in either direction. 1.3888. Let's call it 3888. I'm going to put the stop at 1.3925. That might slightly change, and it is a sell stop. Right, let me just see what the I could really do with Trade Manager.
You can do that.
Yeah, I could do with it. Now that is almost not worth the trade. So I'm just going to bump it up.
I'm just going to bump. Sorry, man, I'm talking about this missing trade. I haven't traded it. Did you trade dollar Swissy?
No, I didn't, and I'll have a look at it in a second. I haven't really looked at too much. 1.3888. So I'll put that in there. I'm just bumping up the cost of the trade tenfold. Dollar Swissy short on the 26th of Was that from us? That dollar Swissy short, or is that a wave rider? Just let us know what strategy that is. Is that a trade call? Just give us a bit of detail. I'll bring it up though now and start having a look at it. I've put that order in the market, so if that gets filled, then I'll put the stop in place. I can't be bothered to put the work out the calculation again, so I'll just drag it up. I know it's not going to cost me a lot, and I will use this area down here. I'm going to come out of the weekly pivot. Okay, so I'm just trying to find out, mate. Dollar Swissy short, but whose trade was that? Because I didn't trade the dollar Swissy. Where did you get that trade from, buddy? Is that a wave rider? What is it? In fact, if you could tell us your entry, your stop loss, and your target as well, that would be fantastic. Dollar Swissy looks good, no doubt about it. It looks like a decent trade to me for if you are in a short. Definitely, this area here is holding things up a little bit. The dollar is obviously going to get kind of it's going to get pushed around because we got the important data out tomorrow. So tomorrow is the real day with the dollar. Now let me just bring this over here so I can see what's going on with the FTSE. FTSE's been on an absolute well, can't say it's been on a tear, but it's been in really good shape, mate. The FTSE.
What happened this week whilst I haven't been anywhere near?
Well, quite a lot of movements in the markets actually. I'm just checking out the what's going on with the open. So we got currently around about 50-50. It's a daily wave rider. Okay, and it was on the 26th. All right, let me have a look at that. I'm just going to quickly look at the situation with the FTSE here and see what the likelihood is that the FTSE continues to the upside. Oh yeah, the FTSE looks in pretty good shape. So actually, if you're in a long on the FTSE, it looks all right to hold on to. Doesn't look like the right time to initiate longs, but it does just because we are getting close to a potential area of resistance up here. But it looks pretty good for at least kind of like sticking where we are right now. It doesn't look like anything negative is going on with global equities just yet. We're around about 8 days away from that 14th of May date that Gordon Scott has kind of given everybody. But it's going to be if he picks that to the day, I will be on a completely different level of respect for the man. I mean, it'd be hyper impressive if you can pick the exact day that the market is likely to come down. But the market's been in pretty rude health. I mean, the numbers continue to be boosted. What's interesting, I think, is that the numbers may be leveling off a little bit. So the growth, the acceleration of the growth that we've seen over the last really 3 months could be leveling off a little bit. The ISM manufacturing numbers were off their highs, still very positive, above 60, which is incredibly expansive, but off their highs. And the services PMIs yesterday also released were off their highs. Does that indicate a potential slowing in the economic growth? And is the economic growth that we've got currently priced in? That may suggest that there could be a bit of profit taking coming anyway. Now, if the 14th of May is the date, then as I say, I'll be really, really impressed with that. But let's have a look at the daily wave rider short on the dollar Swissy. Dollar Swissy. Here we go. Right then, so you're in on the 26th of May, 26th of April, sorry, which is there on that bar. Yeah, fair, okay. And you traded at 0.90866. 0.9. Oh, 8, 6. Goodness me. You sure that's the entry? That's a long way down. If this is your bar here, and just let me know if that's right. Is this the bar? This bar here? Stop loss at 0.918. Nine one eight three.
Wouldn't the wave rider entry be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars back? That that one. No one next to it. One to the left.
One to the left. This one.
Wouldn't it be that entry?
It could be. It could be any of these, to be honest, mate. It could be this one. It could be this one, or it could be this one. Could be this engulfing bar. Could be this because obviously we wouldn't have seen the engulfing bar here. So this one, you know, that does test the weekly pivot. So that one is a valid entry. This is a valid entry, and this is a valid entry. I'm guessing SF. SF. I think that's SF. Is it okay? Fantastic.
Oh,
So SF, is this your entry bar here? This engulfing bar? I mean, to be honest, you've actually got no, you couldn't trade that one the way that the rules are. If this engulfing bar is your entry, I think you've got a decent entry there. This one here, right? Now, I think you've got a decent entry bar. It's wide, which means that you're gonna have to make some. Have you got a target? Where's the target on that one? Yeah, the dollar's quietly strengthening against some of these, isn't it? It's just quietly doing a bit of a job here, and I would have thought that the dollar's probably got the chance to. There's a little trend line there that if it broke that area, then you've got some open water. Inverted head and shoulders there, which is a bit of a problem. I don't think at this stage that you can really aim for anything more than the 0.8987 area. I think that's your target down there. Oh, sorry, SF, not you. Okay. Sorry, trading on the 29th. Yeah, that makes much more sense. That makes much more sense. You traded on the 29th, which is this bar here. He stops at the high. Your entries at the low. You've been pipped in, I suspect, and it's come against you. Not a problem, mate. No, not a problem at all. I would stick with it. Now, the only thing is you're probably not got, looking at this, you've not got much room to go here. So it doesn't look to me like it's much of a big kind of profit situation here. But let me know where your targets are, because if you haven't got one set, watch out for a 0.89877. However, this is what you're really looking out for. And it comes down to the data. Okay, so the data is going to be hyper important for your trade to work out. And we have yesterday the ADP non-farm employment change, not very good, but it's but it is a jump from the last one. So it was a little bit of a miss, but it's a jump from the last one, so that's pretty good. ISM services PMI. Now I think this number is really interesting. 62.7, which is a stellar number. Previous at 63.7, so only 1 point different, but it is just a slight contraction there, which I think is interesting. But it's tomorrow that that you're probably going to get a result out of your trade to see if you get a breakdown. And it's these unemployment claims and the Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, it's Friday. Oh, that's today, isn't it? Yeah, so it is tomorrow.
No,
Yeah,
tomorrow. Yeah.
average earnings and non-farm employment. These are the two numbers that you need to go in your favour. Now, you're on a daily time frame, so you just got to let the thing run. And if you're struggling because it's coming against you, just step away from your system and try and clear your mind, because what you don't want to do is try and second guess what the market is doing. You've got your trade, you've got your signal. Make sure you've got a target in mind. It's all about the exit. Whenever you trade anything, it's all about the exit. Where do you plan to come out? If you can plan your end game with every single trade sufficiently, then you're going to be in much better shape, because you're going to be thinking more clearly. And the other thing is to not change that particular target. So if your target is where I've put it, then just set a target there. If you're looking for lower, then set your target at that particular point, and just don't worry about it. You just have to come out. Hi, Jaira. You've probably missed the pound OCO at the start of the show, but there seems to be a potential. Oh, for a long. Have you seen that, Jeff?
Hang on, mate. Sorry, I'm just doing a bit of management here. Pound long.
Okay, no problem. I've taken a short, a potential short anyway, Jaira. I've put an order in short here for the pound, because I suppose I'm trading the breakout, but I'm trading it slightly differently. So I'm kind of going in at this level here instead. But there's a potential long, apparently.
Yeah, maybe on you look at the 30 Jaira, I would imagine, and a few long tail candles sitting there, and a little, what do I call that pattern? Can't remember. Buzzard. The buzzard, yes. There's a buzzard.
The buzzard, okay, yeah.
So I see exactly what Jaira is saying. A bit tough, as I said earlier, it's a bit tough to trade into that resistance level, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I think that would preclude me from doing that, certainly on the first candle of London session, which I do not trade. So I'd have to see this candle close, mate, before I'd call that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I think just looking at the price action so far today, we can see that the market is in indecisive mode, and it effectively wants to wait for more detail. And when we look at what we've got today, it's a big day for the pound at midday. We've got the asset purchase facility, the Bank of England monetary policy report as well. We've got the votes, and then we've got the policy decision as well, that the official bank rate. So that doesn't happen till midday, and it might be that the pound trade is just not tradable on a day like on an open like it is today, with this all going on, which might be something that needs to be
difference to me. I've still got some pound trades in the market from last week or the week before. I can't remember. I think it was the week before actually. Pound Swissy, pound CAD still going. They're safe in the market, so if they go our way, we should have a reasonably good day and week and fortnight. But if they don't, we're rolling the dice for nothing, so that's all good.
Yeah, that's really good, mate. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, I've got mine to the downside, and I'm aiming for this weekly pivot, which I'll probably cut. I'll probably cut all the trade there, but I might just cut a part of it and see what happens. But it is more of a just looking at a pattern and just looking at a potential breakout. What's that? Sorry, buddy.
I think I've got a bit of lag here. I've got a bad connection. It's interesting. I'm in the middle of Melbourne. You'd think they'd have a decent Wi-Fi here, but not working. I said everything for me on the pound is still down. I'm not a fan of the charts at the moment for the pound to go long. So everything, pound Swissy, pound CAD, as I said, but we're still in from a couple of weeks ago, is all down. Looking for pound yen. I'm looking for euro pound long. Got an order on that when we get round to it.
Okay, mate. Yeah, are you able to share your screen? I wasn't sure if you could.
Well, I think so. Let me see. I'll do my darndest. Hang on a sec, and I'll get the right screen up. Right, let's go see if it works. Okay, how are we looking?
Looking good.
Awesome. Okay, so there's the order. It's getting close to entry actually on the prices at the moment. This is horrible on a laptop Zoom because you've got screens all over the place that you that you have to negotiate. What is the price I've got at the moment? I can't even see it. 86.30. I know, still a fair way from entry. So if you wanted to follow that, that is the order that I've got in the market. Reason? Well, it's a little bit tricky, but the real reason is because of these candles here. This one, which was a key reversal bar. What? 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. That was followed up by a little, I'll call that a not inside bar, which was followed up by another key reversal bar. So these two bars here are very, very telling in my opinion. And then we got a little bar here that looks like an inside bar. And of course, as you know, on the weekly chart, that is something that I really seek, a key reversal bar followed by an inside bar. It wasn't an inside bar by just the tiniest amount, but as I've said all week in my preview shows, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. So I'm looking for that to go long at some stage. And the predetermining factor for me for the week was let's get a pullback down to the monthly pivot and this area here. And we've been delivered exactly that. We've also got a bar that I like to trade. It's got a long tail to the downside. It's rejected the monthly pivot. It's rejected the bottom of that channel. And that's why I'm long here. So I can see a very clear target up here at the weekly pivot to get some money off the table. There'll be another one up here at that confluence area. So that, I believe, is a reasonable position to take at this point in time. Another one that hasn't triggered, and I will probably cancel this if it doesn't trigger today, is dollar. Yes, I said dollar, yen. What the hell am I doing trading this? I don't know. But simply, it's there and it's sitting there waiting to go. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. What I really see here is way bigger picture than anything else. I've got to put some lines on here just to make a case, but I don't know where I can put them because I've got control panels in my way. Hang on a second, I'll get there. Now I've lost my trend line. There we go. This is good fun without a mouse. So we've got that happening. We didn't get a follow through here on the smaller time frames after we broke that monthly trend line. And that to me is interesting. You could also pull this down here and use the other one. Whoops, get back there. It's out of control. And pretty much looks exactly the same. We've bounced off that trend line. Now there is a case for ABC long here, I get that. But you're trading straight into resistance there. So I think it is at a decent resistance level. And I think we're coming back. And as I said, when did I say that? 3 weeks ago, can't remember. We had this big run up here on dollar yen. And we've now had a response from the sellers and a retest of that former resistance level. And that's what I like, that retest there. So that's why I think it's possible to trade it short from here. And it is a lower high that you can see. We were looking to trade that. It's also a key reversal bar followed by an inside bar. And that, of course, interests me. The one problem is this weekly pivot here. We've now had another inside bar, and we're now working on a third inside bar. As I said, if I don't get this in the market and safe, and there's a very tight TP1 just above the weekly pivot there. So the reward is very poor on this, but so is the risk, given that what am I trying to say? That we're one day out from a big number. So that's why this is a bit dodgy to go anywhere outside that small time frame, or that small reward that I'm talking about. So if you're interested in taking, I'm actually trading that bar there, and my entry is underneath it. My stop loss is above it by a few pips either way, but I'm definitely taking first profit at weekly pivot. And again, I repeat, if it's not in the market and free trading by tomorrow about now, I'll probably look to get out of that. or cancel the order. You want me to catch up on everything that's been going on with us this week, mate?
Well, yeah, absolutely, mate. Do you know what? I mean, I was just about to comment on the market generally, that it's been a very, very quiet week in some respects. I mean, the markets have kind of dragged themselves to the upside in some instances, but in other instances they've been a little bit tepid. Like the Nasdaq, as an example, has been tepid. I don't know if you've been looking at gold recently, but gold is just starting to pick up some pace now to the upside, and it looks like it might well have turned a corner. But I do see a market which is just in a little bit of potential. Just some either confusion or just some kind of waiting going on, because, as I say, Nasdaq has been weak for the week. The VIX has not really started to pop to the upside, so volatility is low and not managing to gain any traction. The moves to the upside that we have seen in the FTSE, for example, have just felt like they've been a bit kind of trapped and constrained, and I don't know whether that does signify that we're about to kind of have a little bit of a drop down of the markets. But Bitcoin is another example where Bitcoin was dumped, and it's actually come back pretty well without really being hugely trailblazing. But it doesn't appear like it's ready to rocket to the upside just yet. And maybe I'm wrong, and it'll be frustrating if I am. But it appears that we might just be waiting for a bit of a genuine bit of profit taking and a genuine dump of some of this stuff before it continues in its current direction, which is up. Risk on looks like it should still be happening, but it just appears that we might have just hit a little bit of a price point where that risk on is just not as good value at this stage, and the market really does need a genuine breather. Economic data has been solid right across the board. The big issue is the jobs number. Some of the issue is is what's going on with India as well. But the earnings season so far has just been hit it out of the ballpark. Hit it out of 5 ballparks. It really has been a strong season. But that's backward looking. And I just wonder whether the market might just be now going, we've had our big numbers, we've had our acceleration point. Now's the time to take a little bit off the table, let the market come down a little bit. So risk off currencies doing a little bit better, like the yen, for example, and then we turn around and go the other way. It's either that, or it's just that we stay in a very tight range near the top end and unwind a few of those indicators, and then we go for the next push even before we have had a genuine retracement. But the market is it's just a bit strange at the minute. I'm quite happy holding a bit of cash and waiting to see if there's an opportunity. Obviously, it's going to be frustrating if that means missing out on a big bull run, but so be it. It's one of those things that I think at this stage I'd prefer to wish I were in than wish I were out.
Normally the way, mate, really.
Yeah.
That's very much my mantra. That's a far better space for me to be in, and I don't have a problem with that at all. Starting to see a few potential reversals, however, this being one of them.
Yeah.
And the other chart I was just on, which I think was euro dollar, on which we have one trade. The only trade that we're at risk at the moment that's been triggered is euro dollar, and we've had 2 trades in that during the week, both of them short. And let's go to the first one, which was on H4, and there are the trades if you want to have a look at them. The second one is just out of the money at the moment. As you can see, there's the entry there. What I was playing on the 4-hour chart, hang on, I'll get rid of some controls again. God, that's frustrating when you've got one screen. 4-hour charts, we traded, can't remember now, where was it? 120.40, which is there. That looks like the bar we traded. Yes, that's the bar we traded with the stop loss there. And we have moved our stop loss on that down to here, having taken our first profit. And we also traded on the daily chart, which is the trade that is still not at TP1. That's the one we're at risk. There's the stop loss there at 2081 or whatever it is. Yep, 2081. And the entry on the daily chart was, let me get there. Ready, set. I'm on a very slow connection here, as you can tell. Okay, the daily chart, we were trading this bar here. Okay, so we got in. We're just having a fiddle around here doing absolutely nothing at the moment. The interesting part, of course, and had I been in front of the market at the time, I would have A, either taken TP1 or B, moved my stop loss to entry. Why? Because we missed TP1 by 1 pip or 2 pips, I think it was, on that daily. So I'm not sure if you guys who followed the Telegram group who would have seen all those trades that I've taken during the weekend and probably updated you on most of them. I'm not sure whether you would have taken that TP1 early or whether you would have moved your stop loss to entry, as I didn't, because I am or wasn't in front of the charts. I've been holidaying, guys, and nowhere near the charts from day to day. It's the only time I'm in front of them is in the mornings. Now, this has gone into a little bit of drawdown. 15 pips into drawdown. Look, there is the obvious chance for this bouncing at the moment. Our protection is the weekly pivot. I'm going to hang in here. The patterns were really clear, and there was time frame correlation all over this, and I'll take you through that now. That's the monthly chart that we're looking at, and yes, it does look a bit toppy here. Yes, it does look like this is a clear lower high, but then we got above this trend line and came back underneath it. Monthly chart, don't forget. And then we retested it. That's an absolute perler. And if I had to draw what my consideration of a trade for a false breakout was, that would be it. Because we broke, we consolidated, we came back underneath, and we retested. And there's a clear entry underneath that bar if you wanted to go that far as well for the monthly. A little bit risky because you're trading into a support area. So obviously the best place to trade it from is up here. Weekly chart is giving me beautiful confluence of top of that channel. Bit of head and shoulders look about that. Big bounce off it. And also the top of this channel, which is on a daily or 4-hour chart as well. So it's all telling me down from here. The daily chart, again, clear false break, back underneath, retest, and we're retesting that level for a second time. That's why I don't want to get out of this at this point. If we were to close above the weekly pivot, then obviously we've got a problem. And we are going to bounce here. I don't have any doubt about that. But I don't think that is the governing price pattern. I think the governing price pattern is this one, because the longer the stronger, right? So for that reason, if we can hang on here, then I think we will get a result out of this. That's euro dollar. What else did I trade this week? Dollar yen I've spoken about. Euro pound I've spoken about. Euro dollar on the weekly. Yes, we spoke about that. That's about it for this week, mate. I think there's a few trades we haven't caught up with for a while because they were the previous week. Pound Swissy is one, and Pound Swissy the previous week, same old. We've got a lovely key reversal bar there that became tradable after this big bearish engulfing bar, and we got into that twice. I think on one was the daily, one was the 4-hour. We traded this little bar here, great entry, that one. That was really cool. And that's where we've got most of our money out of this trade from. We've taken profit twice, and then we traded it again on the 4-hour charts. And this one's going to test me because I can't remember where it was. It was back here somewhere. Maybe there, I can't quite remember. It wouldn't have been there because we got to first take profit out of it. I just can't remember the candle I traded this one on, but that was a break-even trade only. We got a TP1 and then we got our trading stop hit. And that is another. Aussie CAD was another. Aussie CAD still going strong, I believe. Yep. We can't see it on there because I've had all my charts turned off, but there's the entry there. There's the stop loss there. Our TP1 was hit some time ago, 170 odd pips ago, and we are still freewheeling on this. When it comes to consolidation pattern here, the weekly chart's telling me that this is still strong to the downside, and I've got no reason to think that this won't go at least to this level here. So I'm continuing to hold that, having moved stops to entry. And there is another couple. Pound CAD's another. Where's that? Can't find it. There we go. Pound CAD's another. Again, this is freewheeling and I haven't got them on the EA. Let me move my control panel again. Pound CAD. How long have we been in this? I can't remember now. It's too long ago. Stop losses and entry. So let me see where the entry might have been. Oh, here we are. Entry, no, wouldn't have been there. Can't remember. Maybe there. No. What's that daily chart? Guys, I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's that long ago. And I've been on holidays and drinking too much. The memories are rest, I've got to say. But anyway, the levels, I can give you the levels, I think, from a couple of weeks ago. But it's too late now anyway to get into it, so it's probably not important. Pound CAD sell at 171.95. The stop loss was at 172.77. So let me see if I can work that out. 72.77.
You don't have to do this, mate. I mean, if it's something that is going to be too late anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to make any difference to anybody. That's
yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's move on to the quiz, mate, because we are pretty much at that time.
Okay.
Because I don't. Yeah, I think where we're at right now is that we need to be careful. I can't pronounce your Chinese name, and I'm really sorry about that. But I do have an ignorance when it comes down to how to pronounce Chinese names from the symbols. If you're able to tell me how to pronounce that with a Western alphabet, then it'd be great because I could properly talk to you then. But just let me know if it helps. P1. Thank you, Sui. Thank you. P1. Okay. Is that P1? Does that help? Pay what I was saying to you about the dollar Swissy, because I want you to be able to ask a question and then get a sufficient answer. So if it doesn't, if the answer is not sufficient, then keep badgering me for more detail, and we can go into it a little bit further if that's necessary, because this is about us helping each other out and making sure that we're learning. So let me know if it helps. Your entry bar is absolutely right. Your direction of the trade is absolutely right. I would leave it where it is personally, and I'd stay in the market. But the big thing is to pick your target. And it's just knowing what your target is. And I don't know whether you're trying to trade 1-to-1. I don't know whether you're trying to trade next potential level, horizontal levels, or all that stuff. So if it did help you out, just let me know. If you've got more questions, then let me know. So Jeff, yeah, go on. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, someone's asking you about your Aussie yen trade from last Friday. Mate. I don't know. I see you put a limit order in.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the Aussie yen trade, and the thing about the Aussie yen is that I'm basically on entry, and I've been, it came all the way down here. I didn't take profit, and I probably should have done, but I've got such a long-term view on this one. I'm just sticking with it.
On my screen, mate.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sort of short. Of course we are. Great stuff. Okay, no problem. Paywen, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad that helped. Okay, so let's have a look at this Aussie yen. So we are basically at entry, and as I say, we've been at entry for quite some time. It came up, it came down, it's come up, it's come down. There is an issue with it because it's now through a level. When if we look at this on just this very, very small area here, this was the area of resistance before. That meant that this area was good to trade. But now we've got through that particular area. So this is now under pressure, and at this point, I can't give you my personal counsel on what you should do, because I've got a different view potentially to what you have, and I'm prepared to say I know my risk, I know what my reward is, so I'm going to stick with it. However, if you were to ask me, would I take a trade short at this particular point, the answer would be no. Now, if you've got in at the same price as me, you are basically at entry. So this is a judgment call that you're going to have to make and say, I'm not comfortable this is going down here. And if you're not comfortable it's going down here, it's time to cut the trade. And if I'm honest, I'm not too comfortable it's going down from this particular point either. All I'm saying is that I'm prepared to lose this, and I suspect I probably will. I've got very little hope now, the way that this particular price action is formed, that this is going to hold. Now, if I look along here at the higher points of interest, then what I do have to give me some comfort is that I've got a little barrier here protecting my trade. Now, until around about the 19th of May, my entry will not meet that barrier. And until the entry meets that barrier, this trade is uncomfortable. So particularly while we're so close to, while we're on entry and while we're on that stop loss area. And the short-term patterns are they are suggesting upside, but the question is, does that upside just get us back to this point and then reject again, or does it go further? We probably will be touching 84.90 or somewhere around about there. There's a high chance that that's going to happen. Not a high chance. There's a chance that that's going to happen. We're going to touch that area. So because we're under that level, I'm saying fine. I'm going to hold it out. If we break that level and I've still got something that I can cancel at that particular point, then I probably will cancel this trade. But right now, I'm under the zone. I know my risk. I suspect the risk is probably going to get hit. But I'm prepared to lose the money. And the reason I'm prepared to lose the money is that the analysis that I did on this is for a fundamental reason. Seasonality, COT data, all that stuff suggests that the Aussie's coming down against the yen. The issue might be timing. I might be completely wrong. Maybe the Aussie doesn't come down against the yen. But the second issue is always timing. Maybe the timing is just completely off here. Because I have to say that the Aussie fundamentals have been really good. I think what is interesting is that it hasn't exploded to the upside, and and that also gives me some comfort. Why hasn't this one gone further? The fundamentals have been solid, and it's still in this particular zone. What is the market waiting for? The one thing that was said at the end of the statement on Tuesday, I think it was that they are looking to keep rates where they are until 2024. Now, that is a long way out in comparison to many of the other central banks. And maybe that's the one reason that the Aussie hasn't taken off to the upside, because of that one, what is actually a very dovish statement. It's hugely dovish. So I'm ignoring it, if I'm honest. I'm leaving things where they are. As I say, I expect to be a loser, but because my analysis has been done on something which is much more longer term and fundamental, I'm just going to stick in there and see if the fight eventually turns in my favor. I haven't been taken out yet, so I'm sticking with it. Hope that that explains it. But as I say, you do need to kind of have your own opinion on this and think about what is keeping you in, because if it's my personal trade that's keeping you in, it's time to cut it out and just don't trade it. Because as I say, my trade is not the technical patterns are not doing what I thought they would do. That's kind of been negated now. The only reason I'm staying in is because the price is still under my stop loss and my longer term view. But the technicals are actually looking pretty bullish, and in some respects, you could look at this and say that, well, is that a bull flag? kind of is looking like it. Hold on a minute, it's on a weekly, so I don't class bull flags to be on weekly charts. So no, it's not a bull flag actually. Too long in the tooth on the dailies. No, I would only consider a bull flag. This is a bull flag. This little area here. There's the pole, and there's a little area here which would suggest a bull flag. And even looking at that, that is suggesting upside. So you know, there's patterns within patterns, but technically speaking, this is not looking great anymore. But we will see what happens anyway. Let's check it out. But you know, it's important to err on the side of caution. The other thing you can obviously do as well is if you don't like the trade very much, but you still want to have something in there, you're at break even pretty much now. Just take a bit off the table here and just say, okay, I'm just gonna reduce my risk. You know, I still like the trade, but I'm going to reduce my risk. That's well, the Subaru. That's a really good question. You can't 100% trust anything. All you can do is have a general idea that that there is a pattern in play at this particular time. And then you're trying to build on all the other building blocks to say, is that pattern likely to you know, is the seasonal pattern this year likely to be on the norm, or is it likely to be against the norm? Now, so far, the norm hasn't really kicked in, certainly on this anyway. But the COT data usually, as a marriage with the seasonality, is a pretty good gauge. You know, I'd want at least those two locked in together to get the gauge. But you have to remember that it's the fundamentals that will ultimately drive the short-term movement, and the fundamentals in Australia are pretty good. So I'm not getting that aspect. Now, what I don't know is what were the fundamentals for the last 25 years that drove the Aussie down seasonally at the start of May. So, you know, in that respect, I am flying slightly blind, and it would take a bit more work than I'm prepared to do on this particular currency pair to go and find that out. You know, I could probably find out the last 5 years, but it would take quite a lot, because you're not just looking at the point in time, you're looking at what's building into that point in time, which is what we've got right now. What's built into this point in time is what's happened with the pandemic. Now, what we do know is that Australia handled it from the start a lot better than most, and it's left them in pretty good shape to this point. Now, if I look back even on last year's data, I won't have that like bigger picture idea of what's driving the fundamentals. So that's why I find it a bit of an arbitrary exercise, and I won't be doing it.
Mate, I would think just, and please don't quote me, I'm not a fundamentalist, as you know, but I would imagine that the sell in May go away thing gives a negative sentiment to the market, and therefore the market goes risk off. That would be my first thought process. And
yeah, absolutely, mate. The issue with that is that if you look at what actually happens during May, with global equities, they still increase, but they just increase at a lower pace. So this is why the sell in May go away is a bit of a misnomer. I mean, it's more sell in June and play a tune. I don't know, but it doesn't rhyme as well. So I think the sell in May, and also I wonder whether the sell in May walk away was something that
I don't know either, but no bloody idea.
Yeah, I think it's an old phrase, but it's almost been negated recently. You know, so it's almost kind of leveled itself off now, because there has been a few Mays recently that have been so good that the average of May is actually. I think I looked at the S&P, and I might be wrong on this, but I think it was up by 0.3%. So it's very small, but it was still up. So yeah, there is that aspect to it, and it's always the question, you know, and Subra's point about how can you possibly know about seasonality, and the truth is you don't. It's just that when you're looking to kind of grab onto something, you have to make a choice about what it is, what is going to be your approach for the markets. And I really like seasonality. I mean, I trade seasonality on stocks as well. I've got a long short hedge on a couple of stocks right now, with one with good seasonality in May and one with poor seasonality in May, and that's working out. But this particular one isn't. So, you know, I don't know. You know, does it come to fruition eventually? It's difficult to say, but the COT data is also some background that is also something that I can look under the hood and sort of say, what are the commercials doing? And I know the commercials are relatively weak on the Aussie, and they have got relatively strong on the yen, but I would like to see the VIX kick up. I've got the Nasdaq pointing to the downside, really. If we look at and these are all the other things that would help this particular trade out. You know, as Jeff says, really it's about, is the market risk on, risk off during this period? Well, looking at the S&P, just that little bit of weakness, does that give us a hint that we are coming off a little bit? Possibly, I don't know, but it's something. This is the Hang Seng, and that has been moving to the downside. Euro Stoxx 50, little bit of weakness at the top there, and you could go really pretty much into every market and have a look at it. The CAC is different, but we are definitely seeing a little bit of weakness there with the DAX. This is the Nikkei. So we are seeing a little bit of a hint that maybe the market's a bit toppy here, but it's got to start collapsing. And if it does, Aussie yen will likely do well as a selling opportunity. But that just hasn't happened as yet. Hasn't the pandemic screwed seasonality? Again, mate, I don't know. I don't know. It's so difficult to know that stuff. And do you know what? When it comes down to it, you will find some that still work and some that don't. And it's one of those that if we form our opinion on the ones that work, then we're saying seasonality is still fine. If we form our opinion on the ones that don't, then we're saying that seasonality is over. But that is really the thing with seasonality, is that it won't always work. You know, some of them do continue to work and some of them don't. And that's the same every year, whether there's a pandemic or not. So it would be very, very, very hard to kind of get every single asset or product that is available for us to trade and do a seasonality track this year to see which ones have worked and which ones haven't, because I guarantee some of them will work, guarantee it. And I guarantee some of them won't, because it's, you know, if it worked every time, then we would have the silver bullet. But we don't. So there's no guarantees.
That creates an issue.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone does have to be on the other side. Exactly that. So it's just, you know, I look at seasonality as a very soft tool. I wouldn't put my opinion based on seasonality. The way that I've decided with the Aussie yen is that I'm putting the COT at the top of the list of how I form the opinion. Then I've brought the seasonality into play, and then I've started to think about what's been going on with the equities recently. Slight leveling off in ISM numbers, stellar earnings session, but no explosive move to the upside. Bitcoin had that little jitter. It feels like there's a jitter coming now. Maybe that jitter's already happened and it was very, very short-lived. But it feels like there's something a bit more significant coming to me, which is why I've expressed my view that the market is, you know, global equities and risk is coming out. But it just hasn't happened yet. But, you know, sometimes you just got to wait. You know, what I would say is the market in many respects hasn't gone anywhere for a good few weeks. So, you know, if I've got a price that I'm happy with, then let's just wait. Let's just wait and see. Anyway, let's get to the quiz.
With me.
Now you're going to be you're going to be a participant in the quiz this week, Jeff.
Am I?
Yeah.
Because that's good.
Because oh yeah, no, keep score. Actually, no, I do need someone to keep score. No, actually, it wouldn't be fair that you're a participant because there's questions on here that you would not be a party to. So you're already under. So yeah, you keep score, mate, and we'll find out who the winner is. Let's have a look. Now I am sharing screen, aren't I? So here we go. Here we go with a quiz. I wish we had some kind of some sort of fanfare that we could do, but we don't. So Yeah, yes, that would be great. Fanfare of the Common Man, by who's that by?
Yeah.
Fanfare of the Common Man. John will know. Copland, thank you, mate. Yeah, Copland. Aaron Copland, right? Aaron Copland, I think that's his name. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So, Buddy's brain brain time. John had a better quiz than me last week, which I'm gutted about. It looked better. The name was better, but I can't remember what he called it. So we're back to this. Here we go. Question 1. So on Monday, Lloyd showed us a weekly resistance 1, weekly support 1 formation that indicated a breakout. What was the formation? Now, you won't know that, will you, Jeff?
Wouldn't have a clue, mate.
No. It was quite interesting. I think you'd quite like it. Oh, I don't see many answers coming in. Paul's got one. Okay, I'm going to move on because I don't think there are. If you don't know, maybe put don't know, because then I'll know that that people aren't still thinking, oh, John's got an answer there. Swee missed the show. Swee, okay. I think that was the only one from Monday, so we might be okay. All right. Well, the answer is yes, the R1S1 squeeze. So John is the only one with a correct answer there, and it was quite interesting.
Well, I know that one because if you recall, many years ago, I introduced ATW to R1 and S1.
Yeah.
And the boundaries that they very good at showing. So I can imagine what that is.
Yep. Yeah. I think I remember you talking about the R1S1 squeeze as well.
Well, I don't actually trade it. What I do is use it as exit points.
Oh, okay. So the R1S1 squeeze. You don't trade that one. Okay, so here we go. Question 2. On Tuesday, we had Scalper Joe. Now, he traded a currency pair that made money. Can any remember what was the currency pair that Scalper Joe gave us a trade in on Monday? John's got an answer.
Scalper Joe.
Swee's got an answer. Gary saying pound, dollar. Now, it's quite interesting, actually, Jeff, what Scalper Joe was doing. And I can say this because it's not part of the question, but Swee's actually put down the time frame that he was doing, and he's put down Swee's put down 2 minutes, and it was interesting because he was looking at a 2-minute chart, which I thought was quite interesting. An interesting approach for a scalper to be looking at, and he was trying to look for order flow. So anyway, the answer for this is the dollar yen. The dollar yen. So Swee was right and John was right. Swee and John right. Right, question 3. On Monday, the world snooker champion was crowned. Who was it? Who won the world snooker championship on Monday? I've got to have a sport question in every week. I shouldn't say that.
Just as well for him, I wasn't playing, mate.
Swee doesn't know. Anybody else? No looking on the internet, by the way, guys. This has got to be for your. John's got no idea. Do you know? I've got to be honest. I don't really like snooker. I can watch it for about 5 minutes at a time. Look at that, Andy brings it out of the bag. It was indeed Mark Selby. Well done, Andy. Yeah, it's not. I don't like snooker actually. I don't mind it, but I can't watch. I can't watch it for long periods of time. Some of the games that I've seen, if Ronnie O'Sullivan's playing, I find it a lot easier to watch when he's on fire. You need to get to the pub more. I don't think they'd show it at the pub, John. It's not really a pub kind of sport, I don't think, unless you go to a sports bar that has lots of different things. But it's a very relaxed sport, isn't it, to watch? Okay, question 4.
I've got it covered for you, mate. That's all.
You got it covered?
Yeah, I've got the pub covered, yeah.
Yeah, you got the pub covered. Question 4. Now, John's going to know this. John was due to see, sorry, I put due in twice, due to see a friend in the UK in 2022. And what is the name of the drum and bass outfit the friend is in? I think I understood this correctly, John. What is the name of John's friend's drum and bass outfit? You shouldn't have answered that straight away. No, you've given the
No.
you've given the answer to everybody else. I had a good listen though, mate. I had listened to a song called "The Warrior" featuring another singer, and I really liked it. You know, I just I thought, what that I've actually added it to the IFP weekend because I liked it so much. Yeah, no worries, no worries. So it was actually a band called the Prototypes, of course. You can all get a point for that.
Holy dooly, I can't write that far.
Right, question 5. In France and the UK are battling over access to fishing channels. What did the French threaten to do in retaliation if access is denied? What have the French threatened to do in retaliation if they are denied access to UK fishing waters? Okay, we got one answer in.
We've got an order long coming up as well.
No more French Rhine. Stop importing of fish. Okay. Swee, you gonna hazard a guess? Block the port from Andy. Not sure from Sweet. Okay, let me give you the answer. The answer is they did. So Gary was right, but they actually specifically they said they were going to cut electricity to Jersey. They currently supply it with 95% of their power, which I just think is just astonishing that they can kind of get away with that. So yeah, so I think only Gary was right on that one to cut electricity to the UK region of Jersey. Question 6: what famous?
Good trade.
You got a trade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's quickly go to the trade. The okay, yeah. Take the screen if you want.
It's cable, and we're going long. We're going long at 139.14. $139.14, and the stop loss is going to be I've got it at, can't remember what that was there, 138.96. 138.96, and TP1's on your red line there at 139. 139.20 it will be.
Okie dokie.
So a very quick one.
Yeah.
Only 6 pips of first take profit. Knock half off there. Move your stop loss 6 pips from entry and see how you go. All right, mate.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff, mate. Brilliant. Okay. Everybody got that? All right, we're coming back here then. So, so question 6 is: what famous Disney franchise celebrated its special annual day this week? What famous Disney franchise celebrated its special annual day this week? John's coming with an answer. I've only got an answer from John. Only got an answer from John. I've only got an answer from John, and he's had time to even type the special day. So I'm going to move on. It was indeed Star Wars. May the 4th be with you. You knew that, didn't you, Jeff?
Oh, that one I did know, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Question 7. On Tuesday, the RBA left interest rates on hold. What is the current rate in Australia? What is the current interest rate in Australia? Gary's in, John's in, Swee's in. This is good. You see, it's continuing to allow us to know what's going on in the world of finance when there's a rate decision. Yeah. So we got 3 right there. Jeff, the rate is at 0.1%. So the left rate's on hold at 0.1%. Okay, question 8. Which tech couple announced that they were getting divorced this week?
Yeah, what a shock, eh?
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock. I mean, I don't know enough about them. Oh, everybody knows this one. Everybody knows this one. Paul, I like your answer. Not sure of the lady's name. After 27 years, yeah. I mean, sometimes you think it's sad, but if it works for them, then, you know, that's the way that life rolls, right?
Any rumour they were swingers?
They were what?
Swingers.
They were swingers.
Come on, mate, you've got it, haven't you?
Oh, very good, mate. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. The swingers, Bill and Melinda Swinging Gates. Very good, mate. I like that. Okay, number 9. Which cryptocurrency did a deal with the Ethiopian government this week to help with voting, property registration, and supply chain? Now, Shukri and I were talking about this. Well done, Swee. She was straight in there. Hanan knows this one too. John doesn't know. Gary says Bitcoin. Interesting, this one, really, because it's had a pretty decent run to the upside. Again, you know, after that little collapse that we had last week, it's had a 50% rise in its price, which is not bad at all, right?
Did that dodgy coin get to $1? Was it supposed to be happening this week?
I think so. No, it hasn't got there yet. No, still some ways off. Okay, final question, mate. Have you got your tally up there?
Yeah, who got that right, please?
We got Cardano is correct, so Hanan got it right. Ada is also right, so Swee got that right. So yeah, either Ada or Cardano is the correct answer. Swee is right and Hanan is right. So the answer is Cardano. Okay, so finally, or Ada. Ada's fine to say. Here we go. So the final question. What has forced the auto sector to leave out some high-end features? So what this week has forced the auto sector to leave out some high-end features? It's pretty badly worded, that question, but I was rushing to get one done.
Because I forgot about this.
That's okay, mate. Do you know what? I'd been writing it all week anyway, and then I remembered it was meant to be you because you won last week. So it was only really just to check whether you'd managed to do it. So it wasn't an issue at all. Yeah, it looks like everybody's got this one absolutely right. So the answer is, of course, that there was a chip shortage. And that will leave us at the end. Oh, actually, I might no, I can't do that. That is it, mate. So who have we got crowned as our winner this week?
We've a very tight one, 1 point in it.
Oh, really? Goodness me. That surprises me.
Swee went very close with 5.
Swee!
Went very
well
close.
Done, Swee. I'll tell you what.
Sorry, what? She didn't win.
I beg your pardon?
I said she went very close.
Yeah, well, no. I'm just surprised because Sui
Okay.
wasn't in on Monday, so she missed a few of the show. So the fact that she got that high is I think pretty impressive.
But John's the champ.
John is the champ again. Okay, so the winner this week is John, and you like the screenshot? It's on PowerPoint. So yeah, have a look at that one. I quite like that one. So John is the winner this week. So John, if you want to, mate, you can do the quiz next week. I don't think you want to win anyway, do you, Swee? Awesome. Okay, so John's going to do the quiz next week. You and I will be competitors, Jeff. And,
all right.
And we will all mark our own scores, okay?
Yeah, this is an idea.
Okay. All right. Well done, guys. Well done. Right then. So we will wrap it up there, mate. I don't think there's anything else that we need to discuss.
With just about everything that I've got in the market or intend to have in the market. Just a little warning on the dollar, guys. If you're not safe in the market tomorrow, probably around about now, then make yourself safe or get out. Would be my opinion.
Yeah,
it could go a little bit pear-shaped.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure whether trading tomorrow is a good idea, but remember that those numbers that are released from the US tomorrow could have a pretty significant aspect on what the move is going to be longer term. So we're okay to wait for those numbers. If those numbers come out strong, look for unemployment to be strong, look for wage inflation to be strong. If that happens, watch the dollar go. Because that's really what the central bank is waiting for. They're waiting for some decent data to come from the job area. So if the job area is looking strong, the dollar's going to start picking up, which means that things like gold, potentially oil, potentially cryptocurrencies, anything which potentially the equity market as well, anything which is related to the dollar needing to go in the opposite direction is potentially going to turn. So we could well be looking at the 7th and maybe even Monday for a shift in the market sentiment. Okay, fantastic. Thanks very much, as always, guys, for coming in and all your participation. To you too, John, have a great weekend, and to you, all of you, have a great weekend. Thank you to Angel, as always. Have a lovely weekend, Angel. Thank you to you, mate, for popping in and bringing us some trades and all the extra little bits and pieces from a sunny part of the world. I'm presuming that Melbourne's quite warm at the minute.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a beautiful day today. We were wandering around the zoo, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, nice. Have a good weekend anyway, mate. Thanks as always.
I'll be headed back home, and I'll be glad of that, I've got to say.
Okay, mate. Nice one. All right. Well, I'll see you on Monday.
See you guys. Bye-bye.